All right, there we go. I said, Dale, you were in there early this evening. Let me bring that music down just a little bit. A little too high. Paul, how are you tonight? Brian, how you doing, buddy? Any late season doe hunting, or are you guys done? We are certainly done. Cliff, how are you? Hello, Renee. TJ, good evening. The first, where to go? The first Wednesday Night Live of 2026. Did I stop it from going? From repeating? I did. Tim, good evening, buddy. I know your kryptonite now. It is seafoam, just like mine. Hey, Larry says, hey, Dale. Hey, Mike. Hope everyone had a good Christmas and New Year. Man, it went fast. It did go fast. Mine was excellent. I hope yours was as well. Craig Plowman, look what I got. My otherwise overpriced Yeti, although you can see how much I've used it. Quite a bit. So thank you, my friend. John Callison. John, your text you sent me made my evening. Thank you for that. I appreciate that so very much. Jerry, glad to have you along with us. Glad you made it tonight. Jim, how are things? Paul, Happy New Year to you. Paul says, looks like tag soup for you guys. I can relate. It stinks. Michelle Plowman, Michelle, where are you? Michelle, how are you? So nice to have you along with us, and hopefully we will see you and your hubby at the Trinity Monitor Wild Game Dinner and Auction. You can get your tickets at this website right here, one.bidpal.net/Trinity Monitor 2026 ticketing. I will be posting a QR code or a flyer or something here. I think there's probably one already made. I just don't have it, or I don't remember seeing it. I will post that so you can get your tickets. Also coming up, I'm going to be involved in a fundraiser for Brian's house, and that is a hospice program in Bay County. That's February 7th. I'll be emceeing that event as well. So, I'm glad to help out however I can. Hello, John. Good evening, buddy. How are you? Uncle Johnny, how are you? How was your trip west? At least the weather was good for you, or I think it was good for you today. I hope your appointments went well. Brian, we're done. Starting planning for next year, what we want to do with the property. I hear you. We are actually going to bring in Rich Krazan of Killer Food Plots to help us with our food plots next year. Got to do something different. Eric, how are you? Congrats on the 40 plus years and what you do. Thank you. Thank you, Eric, for saying that. I appreciate it. Tony. There's Tony right there. No, I am not speaking at Calvary this year. In fact, I'm not even going to be going to the event this year. I've done the last 2 or 3 years. And the way I look at those things, Tony, though that is a wonderful event and I love to be part of it, you can't have the same people there speaking year after year. I mean, what am I going to say that much different this year than I said last year? And I don't want people there to get bored. So no, I am not speaking at the Calvary event this year, but it will be another wonderful event. Eric, how are you? Dean, nice to have you along with us. Joy, thanks for joining us. John Callison was given, not gifted, because gifted is a verb. Gifted is what is it? People want to turn the word, like somebody gave it to you. They did, they gave it to you. The new thing today is they gifted it to you. Well, they didn't gift it to you. They gave it to you. Anyway, I get off track here. John was given a Mike Avery signature knife from Rapid River for Christmas, and he said it's one of his favorite knives. So thank you, John Callison, for that. I do certainly appreciate it. And thanks to your mom and dad for getting it for you. Jerry, good evening. How are you? Cliff said he saw 2 people on Kent Lake ice fishing with the warm weather. I think they were idiots. Well, I'm not going to say they're idiots, but I wouldn't be out there. Hello, Jim. How are things in Tennessee? Todd, good evening. I did get the flyer for your event. I will post it. I got the airbrush going. You'll be painting all winter. Good deal. Tommy, how are you? Jim, Happy New Year to you. Gary, nice to have you along with us. William, thanks for joining us on this edition of Wednesday Night Live, the very first Wednesday Night Live of 2026. Stephen, good evening. Corey, nice to have you back with us again. Nice to have you back in the land of the living. Dave, Roger, Mark, thanks for joining me, my friends. I do appreciate it. Mike, nice to have you along with us as well. A lot of old friends on here tonight. Stephen, am I going to be at the MUCC convention? Yes. Not only will I be at the MUCC convention, I am emceeing Saturday night's event. They've asked me to host, MC, whatever, the event that night. As you know, the event this year will be somewhat different. It will not be an awards banquet like it was last year when I got this award right here from MUCC, Outdoor Communicator of the Year. Not going to be an awards dinner this year as much as it is a fundraising dinner and trying to encourage other groups to get involved in MUCC. MUCC wants to broaden their scope. They want to broaden their base beyond the hardcore hook and bullet types. I support them as long as we don't lose the core message of supporting hunting and fishing and shooting and trapping. I'm with them. I'm with them all the way. With them all the way. You are more than welcome, Todd. There we go. Joe checking in from GermFask. How are things in GermFask? John Ross is 37 years old today. It's his special birthday. Well, John, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear John. Happy birthday to you. There, go back and capture that, record that. Mike Avery saying you happy birthday, which is not something that I would really be really happy about, I guess. Roger, how are you? Happy New Year. Mike, good evening, my brother. Always a pleasure to have you along with us. Bill, same way. Always nice to, well, I'm not seeing you, but it's nice to have you along with us, Bill. Tommy helped me out. Tommy says he saw they made some changes to the spring turkey season. I have not heard about that yet, Tommy. What do you know? Tell me more. Tell me more. Gary says, thank you for the Michigan brand ham. It was delicious. We had it for Christmas. Very glad that we could help you out there, Gary. And of course, it's not me helping you. It is Nick Grillo of Michigan Brand Meats, michiganbrand.net, one of the finest families and the finest Michigan-based companies you will ever work with, Michigan Brand Meats. Corey said his wife Tracy heard me and agreed when I said glad to have you with in the land of the living. Stephen, I would look forward to that. Yes, let's definitely do that. Let's touch base at convention. Oh, really? I didn't know this either, Cliff. Cliff said he heard that the system for the background check for suppressors crashed last week, and the reason is, of course, that since the tax stamp, the tax stamp went away for suppressors with the first of the year. I'm sure there was a big rush on that. I had not heard that the system crashed. Thank you. Paul talking to Steve about convention. Jerry, how soon will we hear about the Pure Michigan Hunt? That's a good question. I don't know the answer. I did win. And I'm quite happy about it. I've been applying for the Pure Michigan Hunt for many, many years. I felt like this was my year, and it was. I did win. Well, I mean, I'm going to win. They haven't announced the winners yet. Sometime in the next couple of weeks, Jerry, and I hope you win along with me. James, good evening. Tommy says mandatory harvest report. I had not heard that, Tommy. That's very interesting. Very interesting. Now, I got to follow up on this. I will follow up on this for next week's show. Turkey reporting. So the immediate question is why? Obviously, the department wants to get a better handle on the number of birds being harvested. Thank you, Tommy. I wasn't aware of that. John, late doe season goes through the 11th. Extended archery through the end of the month. Depends on where you are and what you're looking for. John is referring, thank you, John, I appreciate that, to a question this morning when I said, how long does the special late doe season go? And I got a bunch of different dates, and apparently it depends on whether you're gun hunting, bow hunting, and where in the state you are hunting. But there's no doubt the DNR wants us to harvest more deer, to which I say, let us bait. DNR is never going to let us bait, but the legislature might, which I'm not real happy about seeing it go that route. Harry, my friend, how are you? The third season gets to start in April as well. Okay, interesting, Tommy, because before the third season was basically the month of May, the mosquito season. Jeff, good evening. How are you? Corey says, I never won a ham, so I had to buy one for Christmas. Very good. They are very good. All right, Steve, I look forward to that. Ross, my friend, how are you, brother? So nice to have you along with us, buddy. How you feeling? Paul said he got a survey from the DNR about fall turkey. Evening, Mickey. How are you? Harry says, let's plant more pheasants. I know what you want, Harry. You want pheasant hunting back like what it was when I was living over there by Evans, by you. When you could walk out in a cornfield and put up more birds than we could shoot. I don't blame you there, Paul. That makes complete sense. Ray, can anybody explain how e-tags will work for deer next year? You have to print your own weatherproof tag. How many can do that? See, Ray, this is something I wasn't aware of either, the e-tags. I will make a note for that as well. It's one of the reasons why I enjoy our conversations so much, this back and forth. It's not like a radio show where it's me talking and listening to guests. It's you and I interacting, and you can give me hints and tips, and I can follow up on them. That's interesting. Mike, good evening. How are you? Craig says turkey licenses will also be electronic, so you'll have to punch your tag by registering your harvest. Interesting, interesting, interesting. All things that I will follow up on for next week's show. Good, good, good. Always looking great. Thank you. Thank you, Harry. Appreciate that. I can't see you other than your picture, and you look great as well. Ross, is there a late archery season in northern Michigan? I don't know the answer. Anybody else know the answer to that one? Dave says he misses bird hunting with his dad. Right there, for sure. South Dakota, the bird hunting out there is outstanding. Has anybody heard the Chris Stapleton song, South Dakota? I don't necessarily agree with Chris's politics, but I love his music. And South Dakota, right up there with the best of them. Okay, what else is on my list? White Horse is a pretty good song, too. I feel now like we are starting to settle in to the new year. Have you made the mistake yet? Boy, this shirt's too big on me, isn't it? It is too big on me. I like that. Well, not that I like wearing a shirt that's too big, but I like, I feel like I personally am starting to settle into the new year. I haven't written 2025 yet. I haven't said 2025 yet, so I feel pretty good about that. Jerry, good evening. How are you? Ice fishing's on fire in the Adirondacks. Hope all is well with you. It is well with me, Jerry. Have fun on the ice. Jim, interesting you'd say any word on unlimited lines while trolling. Yes, I will follow up on that shortly. Irene, your own weatherproof tag will be as simple as a Sharpie writing your license number on a piece of duct tape per the DNR at last month's NRC meeting. Irene, thank you. That tidbit of information you provided right there is outstanding. So for everybody who's fretting about, oh, how am I going to print it out? What if my printer doesn't work? I don't know how. According to Irene, who was at the last month's NRC meeting, it can be as simple as a Sharpie writing your license number on a piece of duct tape. Thank you, Irene. Thank you. I appreciate that so very much. And that does answer a lot of questions. Ross says he's been hunting in Southeast Ohio for deer. EHD took a big part of the population down there. EHD is something else. EHD is something else. Cliff says maybe you could have somebody from Jay's gun department on and see what they experience the sale of suppressors. Thank you. I probably won't, though, because I had Gina Cannell from Jay's on a few weeks ago talking about what to expect. And to be honest, if the system crashed and Jays was a victim of that, I really don't want to get them on the radio show and highlight that. I can talk about it, but I really would be reluctant to bring somebody from Jays on to highlight it because in some ways it makes them look bad, and it wasn't their fault. Raymond, late archery in a handful of counties around the thumb. The weather. I just got a notice on my watch that we have more rain expected. It's been a hodgepodge this winter, hasn't it? I mean, winter started right after Thanksgiving, snow and cold and real cold and, quite a bit of snow. And then it got warm. Then we got ice and now we got rain and now it's melting. And Mother Nature is a fickle witch and she will do whatever she wants. John says he just checked the webpage for the DNR. It says January 24th. Pure Michigan Winters on the 24th. Looks like they will still have the old print-off tags for some time, too, if you want. Yeah, thank you, John. Thank you, John. Again, I did not expect that they would make a change like that in one fell swoop. So I'm glad they will work it in, and thank you for the information on Pure Michigan Hunt Winters. When is the 24th? 24th is a Saturday. Okay, 2 weeks from this Saturday. And I can't wait for that call from Eric Hilliard where he calls me and see what they'll do is they'll draw Mike A 1480. 1480 is the last four of my number, my cell number. Mike A 1480, which is what he's going to do. And then I will have won the Pure Michigan Hunt. I'll be one of three. Tommy, ice storm knocked out power for a couple of days. Hopefully you don't get any more ice. Yeah, the ice. As much as I don't like snow, I'd rather have snow than ice. All is going very well with me, Mike, and I hope the same for you. Tommy says they'll draw his name as well. Ross, EHD ain't no joke. They were telling it stemmed from a certain fly biting the deer. Yes, it does. From midge flies, no-see-ums. Anybody who says EHD is a joke has not experienced it, that's for sure. I'll be honest, I am far more concerned about EHD in a deer herd than I am CWD, chronic wasting disease. Now, the reason for that is when you see EHD, it's immediate. However, it's not permanent. What do I mean by that? When EHD strikes a local deer herd, and it's very specific, a certain percentage of deer will get sick and they will die within a few weeks. But then the following year, there likely won't be EHD, so the deer herd will start to rebound. Chronic wasting disease acts much more slowly, but the experts say it's more permanent. Still, I am. Can I say this? I was going to say I would rather have my local deer herd get hit by CWD than I would EHD. I'd rather it doesn't get hit by anything. But if I had to choose, if I had to pick, that would be a tough one. And I don't know. That should be an Ask Avery question. That should be a poll. I should put that out somewhere online. If your local deer herd had to get hit by disease, what would you prefer it be? Steven says he's going to get an elk tag this year. So am I, because I'm getting it through the Pure Michigan Hunt. Chris Craner, how are you? ccranermedia.com. If I remember right, check out Chris's work. He does a great job. I almost called you, Chris, to be on the show this week. Sometime in the next few weeks, eh, buddy? Dave Mason says ice belongs in a glass. It does. Yes, they did act on it. Year-round. Well, Chris Craner can tell you for sure. But yeah, coyote hunting is back year-round now. Paul says yes, it is. Chris was no. He's killed more coyotes than most people. Evening, Jim. How are you? Yeah, it's very specific, isn't it, Ross? EHD is very specific to a given specific area. And you're right. It happens in years where it gets very dry or in drought years at the end of the summer. The water holes in the ponds dry up. It exposes the mud, and out of the mud then come the midgefly nymphs, also known as no-see-ums. They bite the deer. They infect the deer with EHD. Harry, we are getting inducted for 50 years this year at Cedar Springs High. Yeah, Harry and I graduated high school together in 1976. Think about this, Harry. The bicentennial year. Okay, so it's been 50 years since we graduated high school. And aren't you glad we're both still here? Because a lot of our classmates aren't. If 76 was the bicentennial year, 26 will be the 250th anniversary of our country. How cool is that? Todd says he wonders how TB is doing in DMU 452. If I remember right, 452 was the center of the TB area. Tommy says for sure he'd rather have CWD than EHD. I think so too. Brian says we need to have somebody come out and coyote hunt us by us to help thin the pack out. I bet you we can get some volunteers. Ace, Dennis, Happy New Year to you as well, my friend. Now, I have not known Dennis for 50. Well, boy, I have. This guy right here. Where is he? This guy right here. Dennis McDonald, we call him Ace. I met him in 1976. Our freshman year at Ferris State College, now Ferris State University. Go Dogs. Ace, happy New Year to you as well, my friend. Look at the new license plate, same as 76. I was not aware of that. Ray says if EHD moves, if CWD moves in, they will kill the local herd and add restrictions as to what you can and cannot hunt. That's true. That's true. That's a very good point, Raymond. The powers, I keep saying the and a. That's not conversational. The powers that be, not the powers that be. If you watch a lot of YouTubers, they'll say the and a. It drives me crazy. And now I find myself saying it. The powers that be don't make restrictions and laws based on EHD like they do CWD. Very good point, Ray. Thank you. Mike, checking in from Arizona. Sent in a group today suggesting they were experiencing seasonal affective disorders because it's been partly cloudy for a couple of days. Again, remember where Mike is? He's in Arizona. It has been a while, Ace. I hope you had a wonderful holiday season. Larry says, from what I hear, deer down in southern states are immune to EHD from dealing with it longer. Eventually, deer here will be genetically able to resist it. Interesting. Harry says, go Dogs. My when I click on things, it's not immediate tonight. Yeah. Eric says, good point, Raymond, sorry. Okay, what else is on my list? Then we'll talk about who's on the radio show this week. I have not been ice fishing. If I go this year, I will probably go one time. I'll probably go with my son James and our mutual friend Mike Smith of Offshore A-Count Sport Fishing. I will ride on one of Mike's sleds out to one of his spots, fish out of one of his shanties, and use his gear. I'm not much of an ice fisherman, although I do understand the appeal of it, and I hope for you folks who love ice fishing, I hope we get some cold weather to lock that ice back up. I have not been out to the leash property recently. I need to get out there. I've got some chairs that I want to take out of some blinds. Plus, I want to take the fabric down on an elevated blind that my grandson Trent and I put up a couple of months ago at this point. So I need to get back out there, not to hunt, but just to clean some things up. Speaking of deer hunting, it seems like a significant percentage of bucks are dropping their racks early this year, like 6 weeks early. You decide why. Is it weather related? Is it something else? I don't know. I'm not a whitetail expert. Don't pretend to be. Um, please don't call them horns. I know it's easy to say, look at the horns on that buck. They're not horns. And this is not a big deal, but it's one of those things that kind of drives me crazy. Antlers drop. Whitetails have antlers. Elk have antlers. Moose have antlers. They all drop them at the end of the year, end of the season, and grow new ones every year, which is pretty cool. Horns don't drop. Sheep have horns. Cows have horns. They don't drop. Randy, how are you doing tonight, buddy? Nice to have you along with us. Angie says, yeah, it's better in the soft water. Because Angie, are you with Gus? You're not only in the soft water, you're in the salt water. Ross headed to Lake Simcoe. Oh, that'll be nice. Sand Lake area. There were 6 inches of ice, but now 1 to 2 inches of water on top of it. Yep. Tommy says it's because the rut started early. 2 smaller bucks up there last week. Was he hunting or what was he doing, Brian? Jim, yes, I am going to the sports show in Novi this week. I think I'm going to go down there Friday. Show starts tomorrow. I have work I need to do tomorrow. I'll probably go down there Friday. Make a loop, say hi to some people, and come home. Ross said they say it's from not having enough nutrition. That's why they drop their racks early. Tommy said started to see him dropping the week of Christmas. Hunter Joe. Ice fishing is all the fishing I usually do in Michigan. Bucks start dropping their antlers in December every year. Okay, I'm not going to argue with you there, Hunter Joe, but I feel like it was a little early this year. Ryan says he read stress. Yeah, stress, definitely a factor. But is stress from lack of nutrition? Is it from winter weather? I don't know. Larry said, and remember you saying this last year, Larry, pronghorn is the only horn that is forked and drops. There's a little bit of trivia for you there. Pronghorned antelope, which I may have misspoken on the show today. I didn't know pronghorns actually dropped. I thought antelope kept their horns. Thank you, Larry. I may have misspoke on the show this week. Well, there you go. Ross said a little bit of information, Mike. Antelope actually do have horns, and they drop them every year. Thank you. Let me go back, and I'll correct that on next week's show about pronghorn antelope have horns, and they drop. Pronghorn drop. I'll know what that means. Thank you for that, folks. Check things out. Gotcha. Uncle Johnny saw 2 nice bucks feeding today near the road on the way home from Western Michigan. Both still had a nice rack on them. They had nice antlers. I will give Andrew a hard time for you, Corey. I know exactly who you meant. Read that they start dropping when all the does are bred. That would make sense too, wouldn't it, Terry? Thank you for that. Thank you. Let me tell you who's on. Okay, a couple. No. Let me do this first. A couple of events I want to make you aware of. The first one is coming up on February 7th. This is a fundraiser for Brian's House. Brian's House is a hospice in Bay County. They're having a fundraising event at Bay Valley in Bay County. They've asked me to MC that event. Of course, I will be happy to. Also, our big Trinity Monitor Wild Game Dinner and Auction coming up March 7th. Go to one.bidpal.net / Trinity Monitor 2026, and you can get your tickets there. I will be posting either a QR code or a flyer or something here on the page. We've got a lot of great live auction and silent auction events again this year. And they will be available. And then on the 21st of March, the MUCC convention, and I am emceeing that event on Saturday night. Terry, testosterone levels have a lot to do with it. Yes, indeed. Yeah, the bowlers might be on a date night tonight, or Johnny's out plowing snow and they're over at Andy's. Cindy, my dad was at Brian's house. It's a wonderful place. Thank you for saying that, Cindy. I personally have no experience with Brian's house. I do have experience with hospice. My dad was in a hospice facility in Grand Rapids for about a week, and it was terrible to watch, but it was a wonderful facility. So I can't say I'm a big fan of hospices, but you know what I mean. I think hospice is a very, very necessary service. And if I can help out, I will. Oh, Tim Binns, the keeper of all useless information. Pronghorn isn't an antelope, but it's his own species. And, I'm just kidding you. Just a smidge late, Ed? Yeah, well, a little bit. Yes, February 20, 21st, 22nd for MUCC convention. Thank you. Okay. Fishing show this weekend. The Ultimate Fishing Show Detroit at the Suburban Collection Showplace. Starts tomorrow. Runs through Sunday, Ross Elliott. For those of you living under a rock, Ross Elliott. Let me tell you who's coming up on the Outdoor Magazine show this weekend. My first guest is Sir Lancelot, Lance Valentine. I have Lance on the show to talk about our mutual dislike of ice fishing. No, that's not the case. We talk about his Walleye Zone website, also the fact that it is indeed show season, then Keel Jorgensen of Woods and Water News. In the second hour, my guest is Jason Herbert, and we're talking about bucks dropping their racks early this year, and the shed for whitetail antler, the search for shed whitetail antlers. Now, we both agree on this point. Since the bucks seem to be dropping this year, it's probably not a good idea to go out and search for sheds right now because you don't want to stress the herd. So wait. Ed Blisick talks about, coming back to this rod restriction issue. Sorry, forgive me. Legislation that would provide for a $5 hatchery fee, and it would also make for a trolling license for Great Lakes trolling anglers. That's coming up in the House Natural Resources Committee here very soon, in the next couple of weeks. The Ask Avery question this week. Let me throw it out to you. You tell me what you think. This is a question from Ryan Tedesco. Ryan Tedesco sent me an email to Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com. He says, Mike, here's a question for the DNR. A couple of buddies and myself recently had a discussion. If you could legally kill a deer after dark, if you find it alive while tracking. For instance, if it's during bow season, can you use a bow or crossbow? And if it's during firearm season, can you use a gun to kill it? I'll let you think about that for a minute before I answer it. True. Pure Michigan drawing is the 24th. It's the 24th, Brian. Brian says, my wife works for Mobile Hospice, and I think she's doing the work of an angel, and I cannot disagree. Ross, I was just busting your chops. He was chasing deer, couldn't get any. John will be at the trout pond in Novi. Okay, so what do you think? Can you legally shoot a deer after dark? Okay, and then in hour number 3, Jerry Link of Originator Charters in St. Joe joins me to talk about steelhead fishing on the St. Joe, and we wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Miner. Okay, since nobody dares to weigh in on this, here is the answer on whether you can Ross says you can. Ross, you're right. WCO 2.5-7, which I think is Wildlife Commission Order 2.57. Mike English says no. Tim says, I think it would be unethical. Jerry says yes. Tommy says no. Okay, Harry says stepping out, but I don't believe you can shoot after dark. I was kind of with you, Harry, thinking the same thing. Here is the official answer. WCO 2.5-7, Wildlife Commission Order 2.57 says, you are allowed to load your gun, bow, or crossbow at the point of kill to dispatch a mortally wounded animal outside the legal shooting hours. Stephen says it's Wildlife Conservation Order, not Commission, Wildlife Conservation Order. You can. You can use a pistol if that's what you were hunting with, and if you have a CP, if that's what you were hunting with, you can use a pistol. You can't go hunting after dark, Mike, but you can dispatch an animal. According to the Wildlife Conservation Order. Interesting, eh? Yeah. Interesting. Cliff says he liked the old video of Dixie Dave when he was much younger. A lot of us looked better when we were much younger. I have been going through some old video, and I have a pretty extensive video archive going back, 40 years. You are finishing the kill. Yes, you're finishing the kill. And I found a lot of old shows and a lot of old segments. And one of my goals for this year is to repurpose that video. I made you yawn, didn't I? It's to repurpose that video. And, that's a good question. Can you use an artificial light? I don't know the answer. Excellent question, Ed. You guys are full of good questions tonight, and I don't have answers for them. Doug Ward, Captain Doug Ward says, makes sense to dispatch the wounded animal and avoid suffering till the morning. Yes, I ethically, it seems like the right thing to do. I just didn't know if technically, legally, you could do it. Ross says, yes, you can use a light. I know, I'm tired today. I don't know why. Other than there's been a bug in the house here that we keep passing around, and I think I'm fighting something off maybe. But yes, I apologize for the I'm not going to get coffee. If anything, I'm going to have Maker's Mark. Hello, Chris. How are you? Appreciate all the small bucks you've been shooting in the Avery plot. Makes sense, Harry. Tommy says, my wife is working as an RN for hospice. She's actually out on a call right now. That Wednesday Night Live she was doing homework at your show has paid off. God bless her, Tommy. She is an angel. She is an absolute angel. I've seen what the people who work in hospice do, and it is I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it because you know how it's gonna end up, and you're preparing people for the next phase in their existence. Now, to me, I know what that is. It's going to heaven, but it's So and to prepare people to come to the end of their life here on Earth, and to prepare those families to deal with it. Wow. Brian, you're asking questions. I'm not even going to go down this road. Yeah, I know somebody's got to do it. Tell her that even though I don't pretend to know her well, Tommy, tell her congrats, and I'm proud of her. TJ going out hunting tonight. Try to shoot some more does. Hopefully you're not hunting tonight, TJ. Hopefully it's tomorrow evening. I've had it happen here before, here on social media, particularly on my Facebook page. Yes, I agree with you, Cindy. Actually, it's preparing the family for what is about to happen, not just the patient. Yeah, absolutely. TJ, tomorrow. I was going somewhere and I got sidetracked. That happens. I'll think of it, or I won't. It's no big deal. It is no big deal. All right, so this is the first Wednesday night live of the new year of 2026. Oh, a couple things I got to do here. Steve. So you got the plow truck out though. Okay, Steve. Congratulations to generations of pheasant hunters to come. The governor signed Public Act 47 that eliminates the sunset on the pheasant release program. Excellent. That's good to hear. That is wonderful, and that is good to hear. So the governor has done at least one good thing in her years in office. Be hard-pressed to find a bunch of them, eh? Listen, that's just me. I apologize. I'm sorry. Jeff checking in from Georgia. Jeff is living the dream, but he's earned it. Jeff spent a career as a public servant, helping other people, helping others. So the fact that he's enjoying his retirement, I'm happy for you. Chris is going to go old school, use his 54 cal muzzleloader to take a doe. Good for you. Yeah. TJ says, speaking of pheasants, starting to see more in Jackson County. Wouldn't it be nice if we could get pheasants back? They'll never be like they were when I was growing up, and certainly not like they were in the 60s. I have a drone, Brian. I haven't flown it for years. Because I'm not routinely doing a lot of video work these days, I just don't have a need for the drone. It's a fun tool, but I really don't use it. All right, my friends. A couple of minutes early. Cindy, this is an interesting question. This will fill up the next couple of minutes. Having a hard time getting your grandchildren interested in hunting. Any advice? That's a tough one, Cindy. That's a very tough one in today's world where kids have so many other things vying for their attention. That's a tough one. I don't have a magic bullet. I don't have an answer for that other than to keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. Please do, Chris. Please do send me a picture. Boat fishing on Lake St. Clair. Oh, St. Clair River. Okay. Too many predators out there now to get back our pheasants. Ed says start them in small game hunting. No doubt about that. Yeah, Cindy, don't start them in deer hunting. Deer hunting is brutal. It's a brutal way to get kids started in hunting because it is just, it's brutal. All right.
Oh, my Avery, master of the wild, your stories and laughter keep us beguiled. Every fish that you catch, every heart you embrace brings us closer to nature's grace. In the heart of nature.
All right, my friends, thanks for joining me on this edition of Wednesday Night Live, the inaugural edition of Wednesday Night Live for 2026. You have corrected me on some key issues, opened my eyes on some others. I will follow up on those next week. That's why I love this. If I make a mistake, and I do all the time, you are here to correct me in this format. Like, I said some incorrect things on the radio show. I can't correct them until next week. But thank you for the input. This is Wednesday Night Live. My name is Mike Avery, the website MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Thanks for joining me.